Welcome back, everybody. Joining us now to discuss and debate the relative ease with which the bad guys can get in. He is immigration attorney Michael Wilds. His dad, Leon, dear friend of mine from years ago, represented John Lennon in his famous case to withstand a deportation effort by the then Attorney General John Mitchell at the time. Before I get to our other guest, Jen Ting, the law professor, what do you think about the ease with which the Terry Schultz piece demonstrates you can get legal visas or illegal visas, legal visas obtained illegally in that situation?
Geraldo, unfortunately, we don't have a seamless web. Whether you're coming from Mexico or Canada, there are religious clerics, students, and diplomats that guise themselves in status and come to the United States. And we have to make sure that the tactical prowess that these terrorists used on September 11th will not be facilitated. And the only way, I think, is to attack the infrastructure of these organizations. This is what Israel has done. This is what Jefferson did with the Alien Sedition Acts and when we were fighting piracy in the 1700s. You target the people that buy the stolen property. You target the people that are, in this case, manufacturing and fabricating these passports.
But Michael, who's also a councilman, an elected official in the town of Englewood in New Jersey, wants to be a senator from the Garden State. Do you think it's the biggest problem is people obtaining visas fraudulently or people sneaking across, like the ring I exposed in the Tijuana area?
I think all of the above. I think we have right now a government that for the last 10 or 15 years was warned. Many of us marched on Capitol Hill, testified before Congress. I represented a score of diplomats that defected, showed all kinds of visa fraud. I think the government knows that there are people here that have bootstrapped themselves in safe measures that they should never have, and that there are people that can abscond and come into the United States with fraudulent documents. The question is this: where does the buck stop? When we have foreign consular officers that are not American nationals, then we know at the very vetting or the screening of these individuals, we have a problem. And then when we don't monitor them when they're here, or they can simply overstay without any punitive punishment, or then depart without any kind of control. Do you know, Geraldo, in the United States, we don't even have a departure record? You can effectively say you're coming to Disney World and stay here forever. That's not acceptable, not in these times.
Jan Ting joins us now, professor of law at Temple University. He was assistant commissioner of the Immigration and Naturalization Service. Professor Ting believes that the get tough emergency measures being adopted now by the Justice Department must survive the nitpicking of civil libertarians. Do I state your position well there, Professor?
Yeah, that's right, Geraldo. I think the piece that you just broadcast illustrates one more reason why it's critical that the Bureau of Consular Affairs be moved out of the State Department and into the new Department of Homeland Security. This is just one more black eye for the Department of State, as your piece correctly stated. You know, it's not just that they've had instances of fraud. All of the September 11th hijackers received legal visas from these consular officers to come to the United States. There's a problem out there, and it's a management problem, and what the Bureau of Consular Affairs needs is new management, and that new management can only be provided by a new department, the Department of Homeland Security. Colin Powell is fighting this tooth and nail. It's a real turf war in Washington, D.C., but this is one important way in which we can enhance the security of the United States by putting people in charge of visa issuance who are concerned first and foremost with national security, not with their career as future diplomats.
Oh, you guys are in sync there, but let me just ask Professor Ting, what do you make of this situation where Hussein's stepson actually made it to the United States? He made it from Los Angeles to Florida. He was enrolling in the same flight school as two of the 9/11 hijackers. You know, how does something like this happen? It makes the whole INS seems so silly, and I hate to say that because I know most of them hardworking.
It's not the INS. He came to the United States from New Zealand.
Right.
People from New Zealand don't even need visas to come to the United States. Prior to 1986, we required visas of all foreigners coming to the United States. In '86, under pressure from the travel industry and the airlines, Congress passed a law that said people from about 28 different countries don't need visas to come to the United States. They can just get on an airplane and fly here. Guess who came? Ramzi Yousef, the 93 Trade Center bomber. Zacharias Moussaoui, who's now on trial for conspiracy on September 11th.
And more,
Richard
and more.
Reed, the shoe bomber, got on an airplane. They don't even need visas. That law needs to be repealed.
Thanks, everybody.
Now you can help manage your diabetes anytime, anywhere. This is Glucerna, an ideal food for people with diabetes.